It's a rare condition this day and age to read any good news on the newspaper page. And love and tradition of the grand design, some people say, is even harder to find. Well, then there must be some magic clue inside these gentle walls. 'Cause all I see is a tower of dreams, real love bursting out of every scene. As days go by, we're gonna fill our house with happiness. The moon may cry, but we'll smother the blues with tenderness. As days go by, there's room for you, room for me, for gentle hearts and opportunity. As days go by, it's the bigger love of the family.
Samurai pizza
Hi, it is me, Ataru Moriboshi, the sexiest toad teen from Tomabiki Town, and today I am going to the Treasure Planet. And before you ask, no, I don't mean Disney's Treasure Planet, but rather I'm talking about the Treasure Planet, a 1982 Bulgarian animated film by director Rumen Petkov. Hi DW Forever 91 became aware of this movie's existence by watching an online review from a YouTuber by the name of Animat sometime last year. And seeing the film's awkward and jerky animation, hearing its tricky synthesizer music and sound effects, and just the all-out bizarre nature of the film, DW Forever 91 thought it would make great material for a goes-to-video, and who better to tackle such a rich journey than one of the protagonists of an already bizarre sci-fi romance series, i.e. yours truly, haha. And since the fourth wall has long since become the equivalent of buried treasure, let's get said rich journey underway for feet's sake. The film opens with a whispering narration about a black hole. We then cut to the narration source, a suspended in hibernation alien named Fleep, who begins to remember back to when everything started that fateful day back on his home planet. We then cut to a futuristic space-age version of Earth, where our film story begins. And during this scene I will notice that there are two strange-looking machines in the background that seem to be emulating a mating ritual, i.e. it looks like two animals fucking and giving birth to other little machines, who then repeat the process. And the thought of two machines getting it on with each other will start to crack the fourth wall to another 15%, and so I rip off my footwear and start to soul scrub these machines, and it sounds like a you might be made of metal but your surface feels as smooth as silk. Fumbling your tube-like appendages between my toes feels so arousing. The machine babies you produce will now crave the pancakes of organic life forms. Hot egg. Yoikater destio. Just then the old space pirate Bully Bones will step out of his office and shout what the yo-ho-ho and a bottle of space rum is going on over here. Whoa, that's a new one. I'll have to remember that. Bully will continue his rant by saying, don't you play wise with me, you son of a space serpent. Why, I could tell you stories that would curl your teeth. Personally though, I myself prefer the kind that will curl your toes. Wink. I hear you handy words with Bully Bones. Now listen to me. I need to know if you've seen any suspicious characters around the neighborhood, making inquiries about. But before Billy can finish that sentence, just then the space pirate Black Dog will step out of his office and he will be confronting Billy Bones to give him the black spot if he does not surrender the map to the Treasure Planet. Billy will get scared and try to run away in his flying wheelchair, but Black Dog will start up his jetpack and go after Billy in a confusingly animated chase scene. And so to make it even more confusing as if it mattered, I will yank off my shoes and proceed
Hey, mind if I cut in this fuck scene?
What the fuck? Ryuko the space pedal pirate? How the flying toad gem did you get here?
Well, Ataru baby, since this is a space-themed pirate movie, I figured that it would be rather fitting for yours truly to make a random cameo somewhere during this right journey. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, since you mention it, I think a random cameo from a certain space pedal pirate such as yourself would add some swell material for this rich journey, alright. So go right ahead, Ryuko-sama, and take it from here.
Hahaha, thanks again Moriboshi, you sexy bunyan beast. And so Black Dog whips out his plasma rifle to blast Billy Bones, which will remind me of a big black guy from Shinjuku whipping out his big meaty chocolate bar to blast my feet with his creamy white filling. And such a mental image will crack whatever existed of the fourth wall at this point, and so I position my feet in front of Black Dog as he begins to open fire, and it sounds something like oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, blast my feet, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, blast my feet, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, blast my feet, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, blast my feet, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, blast my feet. And yes, they're invincible if you haven't figured it out by now. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, blast my feet, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, blast my feet. I'm always in God mode. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, blast my feet, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, blast my feet, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, blast my feet. Doing this is like hearing Shinji Ikari scream for mercy. It never gets old. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, blast my feet, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, blast my feet. Hearing the swell retro sound effects coming from Black Dog's gun just adds to the sexiness. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, blast my feet, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, blast my feet. But then again, all the sound effects in this movie sound like they were ripped straight from a Sega Mega Drive / Genesis game. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, blast my feet, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, blast my feet, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, blast my feet. Oh sweet Lilith, that was invigorating. Well, since you gave me a literal swell warm up with your blaster, I guess I should return the favor by swabbing your decks with my pancakes like a proper pedal pirate. So here it comes, pun intended. Plundering your pedal innocence. You came here to give Billy Bones the black spot, and now here you are getting the pink spot from yours truly. The pink spot being my big toe, obviously. Using the aforementioned black spot as a dildo. You will see it in the very next panel after this rape. Now back to said rape. Time for the big rub out like rub. Now shower my pork buns with your sweet and sour sauce like bag. That was wizard.
Oh hi baby, that was indeed a swell sight to behold. And after Billy shakes out of his state of disbelief of what just happened, you will once again use this as an opportunity to try and escape. But I'll just use my podophilic cat-like reflexes to pounce on top of Billy in midair, and then proceed to, as Ryuko so put it earlier, swab his decks with my sweet pedalage, and it all sounds like a ha 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 ha. Trust me Billy, this is a fate sweller than death. Seeing your body jiggle and contorse from the awkward animation is actually making me more horny. It's like a lead lamp full of acid. And I mean the drug, not the corrosive. Now to walk the plank, or more appropriately spank the plank like oh sweet Lilith, it's like a vibrating dildo. I think I'll leave it between my feet later tonight. Time to blow the man down like blowing your load on my salty sea dogs. Yeah. Greg, Billy Bones has now become Billy Owner. Being the lab for a lover such as yourself was indeed a swell experience, if I do say so. Anyways, here's the treasure map I was hiding this whole time. Be sure it gets to my friend Fleet so he can find Flint's treasure before those other unswell pirates get their hands on it. Now I'm gonna go and find that space pedal pirate and see if she and my now reswell-eyed shipmate Black Dog want to engage in a foot three-way. Later, maybe. Well, we may have got off on a bumpy start, but it was a swell ride nonetheless, so let's get back to it. Once I have the map, I will run into the young space cadet Philippe, as in the same Philippe from the beginning of the film providing the opening monologue. He's also going to be the Jim Hawkins of this adaptation. He will say, "You must be the one old Billy Bones has been waiting for this whole time, and I see you have his map. We must get it back to the Space Academy, where we can hand it over to my superior Commander Smollett, who is about to begin an expedition on his spaceship the Hispaniola. As we begin to take off in the ship, I will remove my footwear and say, Philip, I went to a lot of trouble getting this map for you, and my feet are killing me. Why don't you put this baby on autopilot and give my barking dogs a nice rub down? What do you say?" But before he can even respond to my request, there will be another ship tailgating us from behind. Obviously this will be the other pirates after Flint's treasure map, and they're trying to shoot us down. But what really pisses me off the most is that I was in the middle of getting Philip into the soul sack and these fuckers ruined it. So since I already have my shoes off, I decide to commandeer the controls with my bare feet and start making maneuvers to evade the pirate ship. They will continue to pursue us, so I will start to get irritated and turn the ship around and start shooting some foot-tastic weapons at them like toe jam missiles and foot sweat cannons, and a special finisher I like to call the big toe bomber. Greg, I think we gave those unswell fuckers the soul slip. Now let's take this map and get out of here! Ah yes, Ryuko, I think these two will make fine Ashi additions to the Ketchum clan's motley crew of onion buccaneers. Ha ha ha.
Later at Commander Smollett's meeting place at the launch site.
When we get to the launch site I will be meeting face to face with the commander himself, and the first thing he'll say is, "Hello young fellow, my name is Commander Smollett, what can I do for you?" And I will say, "Well actually I was hoping to get a foot massage. I've been using my feet throughout this video and they could use a bit of stimulation, if you catch my drift, wink." He will then say, "Foot massage, is that all? I don't suppose you were looking for a treasure map or perhaps a young space cadet named Philippe?"
Oh, it's alright, Commander. Mr. Marabashi is actually responsible for getting me and the map here safely with his unusual piloting maneuvers. Those pirates would have probably gotten us already for sure if it wasn't for him.
Yes, very good then, Philippe. You and this young man have done a fine job getting the map here safe and sound. All we need to do now is hire a crew and begin our expedition to the treasure planet.
Right, Commander. What should we do until then?
Well then, Philippe, why don't you show Mr. Murabashi around the ship while we make preparations for our epic journey?
Oh domo arigato, Commander. I can assure you this is gonna be an epic kind of journey, alright, ha ha ha!
Later that night on the spaceship Espanola.
Later we will be traveling through space headed to the treasure planet, and I will be walking down a quiet hallway of the ship's main control room. These surroundings will instantly make me think of the scene in the movie Alien, when Ripley gets out of her stasis pod and seeing her in nothing but a tank top and underwear exposing her long slender chopsticks will cause my lightsaber to activate and give me steamy sexual fantasies. But before I can reach inside my pants to choke the space chick into the image of Sigourney Weaver's finely aged slabs of cheddar, just then I will be greeted by Long John Silver, the new first mate of the crew that Commander Smollett hired for this expedition. Silver will ask if I would look for the other crew members. Commander Smollett wants them assembled immediately. And no funny business. I head down to the lower deck of the Espanola, where I will spot the other crew members, who will be dancing around the ship and singing a strange Bulgarian song, and as they dance and sing I will start to hear a calypso-style tune playing in the background. And seeing this bizarre but swell swagger will start to get my toes tingling, and so I too start to dance and bougie my socks off. And once I got the other crew members right where I want them, I will dive sheet first onto these party animals and start to rip off their footwear and begin to treat myself to a pancake smorgasbord, and it sounds something like a ha 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 ha. God, it feels like forever since I gave anyone pedal pleasure. Ha 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 ha. But then again, if there was a foot session every 5 seconds, this would be just like any other goes to video. And you know DW Forever 91 likes to add a bit of variety during his Rick journeys. Good old fashioned creativity will always add something over what's been done time and time again. Yeah, you know that recycled fourth wall gag reminds me of the time I disguised myself as a Michelle Obama dildo and waited for Oscar Langley Soryu to use me between her sexy smooth strudels. Oh hi, that was a red letter day.
I knew there was something suspicious about that Michelle Obama dildo. Anta baka? But to be fair, I did ironically enjoy having that man between my feet, and at least he had the courtesy to hold in his orgasm until I was finished. Just another day in the life of Jimmy Neutron.
I will then notice sparks come out of the crew members, revealing that they were actually robots. Whoa, I've been pedal pleasuring lifeless machines this whole time? What a rip! I wanted to feel their hot sticky man fluid cover my Dazu pedals. I will then feel something pull me from behind. Philippe will then point out Long John Silver chastising the robotic crewmen for goofing off, and during the conversation we will overhear him talk about some diabolical plan. But before me and Philippe can go to the bridge to warn the commander about Silver's intended mutiny, the ship begins to enter a magnetic storm that opens a space-time anomaly which changes the Hispaniola from a futuristic spaceship to an old 17th century galleon floating in space. Just then a bunch of strange tentacle monsters will come out of nowhere and start attacking the ship. And of course, being Japanese, seeing tentacle monsters will instantly get me thinking of tentacle hentai, and the thought of hot young high school and junior high girls, along with young underage boys getting the bottoms of their feet tickled by tentacles, will obliterate the fourth wall to 2%, and so I strip down and grab these sexy squiddly diddlies and force them to tickle the bottoms of my feet, and it sounds like a feeling tentacles squirm between my tender toes feels so natural. Hope your suction cups leave hickeys all over my bare legs. The mucus excreting from said suction cups makes some dezu pedaloo. This reminds me, I should totally add the female cast of Maniac Mansion into my heel harem. Just then the queen tentacle monster will step out of its office and start to squeal in its otherworldly language, and I will just assume it's calling me a sick bakan, so I just pounce onto this literate sexy beast and start sliding my lubed up pork buns and chopsticks all over what I can assume are its sexual organs, and it all sounds like a judging by the aroused sounding noises you make, I take it this isn't your first time sucking on a pair of corns. Using your sexy front appendage to floss between my toes. Suck up all the tasty toe gem. My pedal blood is a most delectable treat. I wish my Yakovsky from I Got a Rocket was here. Happy ending time. All this mucus makes your vagina extra squishy and my feet extra slippery. Now I really wish my Yakovsky was here, cause I'm about to make a squid shake like Greg, yo. We will finally pass the magnetic storm and everything on the Hispaniola returns to normal. Me and Philip head to the bridge to explain the situation to Commander Smollett. Finally we reach our destination, the treasure planet. Just look at it. So beautiful. So majestic. Why, it's enough to make a grown man's penis cry. But sadly there's no time for that. We need to warn Commander Smollett about the evil plan set about by that scurvy prude fucker Long John Silver. Unfortunately we are too late, as Long John's already threatening the commander to surrender the map to him and take it off of the ship. But then the robot parrot that Philippe turned on in the earlier scene will come up and swipe the map from Silver and lure him and his men off into the distance. Now you'd think this would be the part where we chase the parrot down and get the map back, but Commander Smollett explains that he gave Silver a fake map this whole time. So while Silver and his men chase after the parrot, me, Philippe and Smollett will make our way to the hiding place, where Flint's treasure is hidden. So ready or not, here we go.
What the fuck is going on here, and who dares to disturb my mighty rest?
Captain, what the hell is happening? We're going to be eaten alive!
No,
Please, Silver, save us!
Greetings, dear mortals. My name is Gomez, the lava rapist of Treasure Planet. Since you used that lazy power on me, it mustn't do I have no wish to engage in some such basics. I am going to take the form of lava bird and rape every single one of you for the glory of your Uranian and Titanic sexual shenanigans in the depths of hell. Ready or not, here I come among you sexy bug pirates.
Oh sweet Gilbus. Elsewhere on the treasure planet.
Commander Smollett will take us on his rocket cycle following the map's directions, and finally we make it to Captain Flint's lair, where the treasure is hidden. But once we get into the secret grotto, we will be greeted by a bunch of holographic images that Captain Flint himself set up to scare anyone looking for the treasure away. And I will notice that one of the images is a bunch of sexy mermaids who will be rubbing their naked bodies all over us to wear our guard down. Of course this backfires as seeing the naked mermaids and their big bouncing titties and sexy smooth web steppers will get me so all horny, and so I strip myself down and begin to slide my pancakes and slender chopsticks across their smooth slippery cleavage, while also smearing their equally slippery lily pads across my face and other exposed areas, and it all sounds like a sexy alien mermaid rub out. Oh, I wish Calla Maria and Holly Mackerel were here. All of you fishy ladies have such days, you yummy toe gem. Tastes like a raspberry smoothie. Now let's make things even wetter by spraying your titty milk and vaginal juices all over the place like Reg, yoik hotter yo. And my foot session with the mermaids will start to fuck up the hologram's programming, and after the computerized ghost of Captain Flint breaks down, the hidden treasure will finally be revealed. An artificial jewel which contains all of Earth's natural elements that Flint had collected over the years. A modern Noah's Ark, if you will. But as we are about to head back to the ship, Lone John Silver will capture Philip with the aid of a computer robot named Nebuchadnezzar, of which he obtained while evading the gang rape of the lava monsters from the earlier scene.
What's this do? I fucking hate today!
Silver says that he will let Philip go if Smollett hands over the treasure. I will say, how the flying dildos did you get such a powerful machine like that on your side, Silver? And he will say, well, if you must know, I played Captain Flint's favorite song to put Nebuchadnezzar under my command and do my bidding. Now hand over the treasure or the space cadet gets it for sure. I will then get the idea, so it's playing a song that overrides this hunk of metal's command, is it? Well then, let's see how it reacts to this little trick that I taught to some BFFs in Akame Alpha. Tsukio Space Disco Party Mode activate.
We're through being cool. We're through being cool. Eliminate the minis and the twins.
And would you know it, as the disco music plays, it starts to override Nebuchadnezzar's programming and he starts to dance to the funky beat. So I decide to take advantage of the situation and start to have my slow way with this robot, and it sounds like a giving you a slow reprogramming with my spicy pork buns. The computer warfare feet, as opposed to tennis shoes. Reg, this robot's now permanently on the side of slowness. And as for you, Silver, you butthurt Gills rat, it's time you find out what a true treasure looks and feels like. So get ready for the soul smothering of a lifetime. Oh come on, Silver, take it like a man. Using your peg leg to pit between my toes. Eat some of my toe gem. It'll cinch the hairs off your chest. For me to give you a soul scrub. Now give me your Long John, so I can scrape the barnacles off your dingy rub. Holy shit, it's actually small rub. So that nickname of yours is purely for compensation. Alright, just blow your load already. Oh sweet Lilith, pathetic. After dealing with Silver and his pirates, we will head back to the ship and begin preparations to return to Earth with Flint's treasure. So let's get off this rock and celebrate our success with some good old satisfaction.
No. What kind of piece of shit establishment is this? All I wanted is to obtain Flint's treasure and become master of the universe. I had to deal with tentacle monsters, nearly escape anal sodomy from a lava monster, and even deal with the incompetence of my own henchmen. But who would have thought that some teenage monophiliac from an obscure Japanese TV show would be the one thing standing in my way? All I wanted was Flint's treasure, and all I got is a pair of feet in the face. No, that is not swell at all. Fuck off and let me be.
That reminds me, what's my cousin been up to lately? So, you say that you're a female who has a craving for pancake breakfast in your wet cunt. Well, ain't that convenient? I have some other playmates that would love to get to know your private areas in a more personal manner. In fact, they were hoping that you would join us for an octopi eating contest. Ha ha ha.
Even the laugh track didn't think that was funny.
What What kind of piece of shit establishment is this? I was just trying to make a wisecrack to go with a theme of this cutaway gag and you go and play that clip to make fun of.
Anta baka? Just cut it out, Shinobu, or you're going to scare that thing away like you did the other one. Oh sweet Jehovah, that's the last time I do 2 cameos in a row.
Sigh, I just can't help myself.
Back on the Espanola.
As we are headed back to Earth, Philip and I will continue to gaze at the awe-inspiring wonder of Flint's treasure, housing all of nature's glorious splendor inside of it. Oh my me, I would just love to polish this beauty with my 2 silky smooth flesh sponges and make it even shinier than it is right now. By the way, Philip, I never did get that foot massage yet. Perhaps you'd like one first just to know how good it feels. Why don't you take off those boots and let me see what your sweaty steppers look like, and then we can take turns pedal pleasuring each other. But once again, before he has a chance to respond to my proposition, we will notice that the ship is starting to catch fire all around us and Commander Smollett will say we're headed into a black hole. Long John Silver, having escaped from his cell, will reveal that he sabotaged the navigation computer and aimed us to the black hole to take us all down with him for denying him his satisfaction. He will then proceed to kill Smollett in cold blood. Philip will avenge the commander by turning his blaster on Silver, killing him in a gruesome manner. And as the ship continues to burn, Philip will have to decide whether to save himself or the treasure, and ultimately he decides to send the treasure back to Earth, hoping to restore the planet to its natural glory. Since I may not get another chance to do this, I will jump onto the space capsule and wrap myself around it just before it blasts off. As the space capsule continues its predesignated flight back to Earth, and I can survive in space by the way, I will crawl into the capsule and do as I desired earlier, and begin to soul scrub the jewel with my smooth as a baby's behind sweet pedalage all over its already shiny exterior, and it all sounds like a ha 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 ha. Oh my, may this jewel is so fucking smooth. Ha 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 ha. Sliding my soles across this gem makes my feet feel lighter than air. Ha 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 ha. The tip of the jewel makes a great massager. It's actually vibrating. I'm finally getting my foot massage and it's from an inanimate object. Is it my imagination or is it starting to turn bright red? Am I actually making this jewel horny? What is going on right now? Well, it massaged my feet, so whether or not it's sentient, I won't let this gift horse bite me. I think it's high. Oh my me, it's about to blow a massive load. Greg, yoikotter destio. After the entire planet is covered in the jewel semen, a giant flower will pop out from the ground and said flower will burst into an explosion of natural life as a keyboard rendition of Ode to Joy plays in the background. The various creatures of nature raining down from the sky will include the following: orange monkeys in boxers, lions wearing swim trunks, these weird purple things playing instruments that remind DW Forever 91 of the California Raisins, yellow hippos with horns on their heads, toothless alligators with eyes, peacocks in skirts, barefoot girls on trees playing with beach walls, giraffes wearing boxer shorts like the monkeys, and for some odd reason Mickey Mouse. One more bit of fourth wall shattering randomness to make this long line of future rape victims complete. And as soon as they all land onto the surface of the newly reborn Earth, we will all engage in a super duper dazu mega stomp nature restoration to orgy, and it all sounds like a oh sweet Lilith, this movie was so fucking weird. But but at least it provided some swell material for this Rick journey. You orange monkeys are about to become even more orange after I give you a soul hit. You toothless gators can have a swell time gumming my ankles. You hippos could use a fine foot flossing on your horns and teeth. Let me squeeze the juice out of you literate purple-headed warriors. Signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. Why don't you girls drop the beach ball and come play a game of Toe Twister? Massaging the long necks of you giraffes feels like a velvet rope between my equally smooth pork buns. Happy ending time. Fitting since this is the end of the movie. Now let's all light up the sky like it's the 4th of July with our combined love liquid.
Oh boy, I'm sure glad I haven't landed yet. It looks like some crazy shit is going down right now.
Oh, don't think you're gonna get out of it that easy, Mouse Boy, cause I'm here to give you a fair dinkum root up the arse. Moreover, I'll also be giving you a foot massage. Here, I've pretty much become a podophiliac since I've been hanging around that swell Jap bloke Moriboshia Hamada.
Well, since you're offering, you can give my sexy webbed steppers a nice rub down before the next scene commences. Hot, hot, hot.
Croc-a-didgeridoo!
Enough with the gratuitous cameos.
Greg, you caught her yo. Oh, don't go anywhere, just right at YouTubers. It may be the end of the movie, but not the end of the Rick journey. You see, upon further discovery I will notice that the escape capsule I was riding back to Earth also happens to be a deadly animator, and so I use it to return Philip and Commander Smollett and all the other crew members of the Espanola, all except that Angel Vaca Silver since he tried to kill us. And as a way to celebrate the success of our swell journey, I will once again use my Sukio powers to transport all of us to a space disco dance party. And everyone who made an appearance throughout the video will be here. And of course our ever so gracious host DJ Jet Screamer will be providing the funky beats for us to groove to in this swell little shindig. And now without further ado, let's cut the pedal to the metal and bougie all night long like dance and just look at those space pirates go dance and for a bunch of robots. Their metal metatarsals really know how to carry the beat. And speaking of swell dance machines, look at Never get down with his bad self. Come on, Philip, show him what you can do. You sexy mermaids, go ahead and shake those bubble butts. Oh, what? Don't stop now, the funky footbeat is just getting started. Dance, and grand that peacock lady gives me such a bonsai boner. Dance, and all these funky aliens get me so all horny. Dance, and by the way, the images of Yogi Bear and Huckleberry Hound are just holographic images provided by the Space Disco. Dance, and as it goes through and well fuckers would ever be down with this sort of thing. Dance, and Quack Up is the only real funky one around here. Dance, and Scare Bear might be cool with this as well. Dance, and after giving our barking dogs such a predacious workout, we will pile up on top of each other and begin the Bigfoot massage circle, and it all sounds like both Philip, your tender toes are just as soft as I imagine. Just sit back and relax, I'll make you the next member of Team Taku. Oh, I'm so glad I let Miyuko cut in on the first footwork of this video. Feet are as sexy and smooth in the flesh as they look on their wanted posters. Bosca and Shinobu are smearing their gorgeous peddlage all over our faces. Nothing like a Euro-style pancake breakfast to start my day. Love the sound of Luffy clapping his sandals together is making my love katana grow extra stiff. But it'll be even slower when said sandals come off. Just admit it, Smollett. Your feet are beautiful and have always been a weakness of yours. Well, I think we tenderized each other's toes long enough. Let's fucking. What a coincidence that DW Forever 91 would close out another Goes to video with a disco dance party / orgy. Don't worry, he doesn't plan to make this a recurring habit. I'm sure sure he'll come up with a more extravagant way to close out the Rick journey to change things up from the one drawn out manager scenario. Using the crumbled Biblia what used to be the fourth wall as Thomas Stone's. Now let's go out with one more mind-blowing happy ending. Yeah. Oh sweet love, here comes the sweet release. Greg, you Connor Destio. Oh my me. This all sounds so deju. Put the pedal to my penis, turn you into a pancake jumper in half a fraction of a nanosecond. Mega stump swelling the slender souls. I think I will go to the treasure planet and do all of this right now. Sayonara for now, YouTubers, and remember that the members of Team Cocoon are always masturbating to you and your sexy feet. Later all you pancake jumping mofos.
Well, if it isn't Jim Hawkins, how swell it is to finally make your acquaintance in this ripper of a film, The Treasure Planet. So where's your robot sidekick Ben anyways?
Okay, first of all, my name is Jim Hawking, and second, this is not Disney's Treasure Planet. Not that it would even matter since this film's Jim Hawkins goes by a different name anyway, but as long as you're here, why don't I go slip into something more comfortable, i.e. my famous bedwear, and I give you a foot-tastic scrub down while you stroke my drumsticks until they're as wobbly as red gelatin. What do you say?
Well, you two boys can do whatever you want. I'm just here for the sexy animals at the end of the movie, ha.
What the fuck? When did Pippi Longstocking suddenly go all goth?
Oh sweet dildos, you've got to be kidding me. Erg.
Yeah, just go ahead and cut to the channel credits already.